Hey, John here, or the salon doctor as they call me. And given the situation we're all going by, I guess it's appropriate for me to wear my doctor's smock. Listen, I want to talk to you about this whole virus thing and what's happening out there. Obviously, it's a horrible thing for all of us personally and professionally. And as you know, I was a great advocate of keeping the salons open, and some, in fact, did that, kept their salons open for a while. There's one notable one I want to discuss in this broadcast in just a minute here, but the important thing is this is going to be over with someday. I don't know if it's going to be over with sometime in April, whatever, but it's going to be over with. And as soon as the CDC and the president and everyone sees that the trajectory of the infections is proportionately going down, I think things are going to soften up. But the most important thing is you have to get ready for the post-virus environment. It is going to be over with. And unfortunately, we've now destroyed a big part, or will have destroyed a big part of our peak season, but it is not all lost. It's only all lost if you let it go that way. And I want to enforce a thought in your mind right now that virus won't last forever, but your competition will. And you look at the lower left-hand corner there. This is one of my favorite sayings by good old Charles Darwin in the Evolution of Man, where he says, "It isn't the strongest of the species that survives, nor the most intelligent." That's good for me. It's those most adaptable to change. And that is something that a lot of tanning salon owners don't want to do, because up till now, you've had a pretty predictable lifespan and trajectory of your business, but it's time to do a little changing and to adapting, as Mr. Darwin would say, to this situation. And something that my mother told me years ago, that in life it's the survival of the fittest. Call it the fittest. It's really the fittest. And for any of you that have been through some of the stuff that I've been through, and by the way, I'd like to clear the air on that. A retailer sent a note to me and said, "John, how can you talk to us about this? You've never been through a pandemic." Well, maybe that retailer didn't know how old I am. I'm 73. And when I was 6 years old, I was diagnosed with polio. As it worked out, that diagnosis was not accurate. Dr. Jonas Salk came out with his vaccine, and I avoided polio. I've also been through another pandemic in my life, and that's Vietnam. I went to 2 pre-induction physicals, and for whatever reason, because I guess I had broke my leg in high school, they didn't want me. I think by the time the Tet Offensive had happened in January of '68, if I'd had one leg, they probably would have taken me, but they didn't. But anyway, the point of it is, life is not, in our industry, is not what it was, and maybe it won't be for some time. And so we have to be fighters. I say to all of you, you have to be fighters. In the last 45 days, I've talked to at least 40, 45 tanning salon owner chains and single salons, and trying to tell them you can't give up your business now. And what I'm going to say is that what we're going into now is going to be a battle. It's going to be a battle to get your business back on track, and to remember that you're going into this street fight. You're going to have competition, and once that veil on this industry is lifted, there's going to be a street fight for market share. And it's a saying I love, and it's that, you're going into a street fight, come big or stay home. And it's time to be serious. And when the people I have talked to, some of these salons that I've talked to, salon owners, it concerned me that they've never had to fight before like they have to fight now. Now we're going to have to get tough. So let me give you a couple other thoughts to think about, because this is not going to be a simple thing we're going to go into. As you probably have seen, I had posted 2 other videos before on handling this pandemic. The first one was talking about how I didn't want to see people close, and then the other one was on the outreach and how to improve maybe marketing, that kind of thing. And of course, as you know, that most salons now have closed. We just had signed up the 499th salon company signed up with us yesterday. This is a salon in Hawaii. This now makes 50 states. I've been the only state that we had not been doing business with as far as tanning, and I think there's only 2 of the provinces in Canada that we have not done business with. These videos that you see on there right now, and I'm going to show you the YouTube address on that in just a minute here, but these 2 that you're seeing there on the screen have gotten more than 800 owners have gone through those webinars, and it just shows you that they're looking for answers. Now, the answer is to how my business should react after the virus is, I say, don't wait. Can't wait until this veil is taken off and our burden is somewhat reduced, from closing our salons. You can't wait, because believe me, there are people that are not waiting right now. They happen to be people that I would call the vultures or the buzzards of our business. I don't know how those 3 companies' logos got on there. I don't know. I would necessarily be calling them buzzards, but let me point something out. And last week, when there was a question of whether or not Ohio was going to put out a mandate that everybody had to be closed, first of all, I have to tell you that I take exception. I take exception with them saying that we're not an essential business. I'm not trying to be cavalier about this virus. It's a horrible thing. But I still say that we're an essential because we give people an escape. We get them away from this depression. We are without a doubt the most virus-free business that you can find. We're cleaning these damn beds 20 times a day. Even the CDC back in 1993 said, pretty darn hard to get a virus off a tanning bed. This assumes that you keep your beds clean. Okay, so now the buzzards. Last week in Ohio, a lady that is a client of mine had her salon open, and she was doing some business, enough business that it paid for her variable expense for the day, and it was helping her to make her lease payments and whatever. She had one of the buzzards, a manager for one of the buzzards, call her and say, if you don't close, I'm going to report you, which is exactly what they did. So I just want you to know there's no brotherhood or sisterhood in this business as far as the big corporate chains and you as the small guy. And the small guy could be, you've got a chain of 12 or 15 salons, you've got single salons, you've got 5 salons. I've got them all over the board in different sizes. There's no sister or brotherhood on this. When this veil gets raised on this business, these people, these big corporate people, have already got their plans. You need to have your plans in place, your marketing plans. I'm going to go over that in just a bit here. So again, I'll go back to what Charles Darwin said, you've got to be adaptable. And also the quote on inertia. Sometimes it seems like some of the owners I talked to in this business, we seem to be stuck in an inertia of not moving. It's like the deer in the headlights. We are so overtaken by everything that we hear and see on media that we're frozen and we're not taking action. You need to take action. And what I'm saying is you need to attack. And so, question. So how do I adapt Charles Darwin's statement about adapting to losing much of my peak season? Well, it's a good question. And the answer is that you have to be ready to attack. You have to be ready to attack. You can't wait. If you wait and you call me for help after they've lifted the veil, it's too late, because your big corporate competitors or your regular competitors, they're already there. I can assure you that these people are sitting in their offices right now, these big corporate people, and they're planning out their attack. The minute that this veil comes up, they're going to bombard everybody with, and let's talk about marketing plans. So I say if you don't have your marketing plans that you can plug in when this is done, you better do it now before that the virus veil is lifted. And that includes, of course, email, social, Instagram, text, and in some markets, radio. We've done a lot of all of the above in our email. But the other thing I want to mention to you too is that in getting ready to attack, you've got to talk about your strategy for your employees. I spoke to one of my bigger clients today, and we talked about what are you going to do now that your salons are closed and you've got 80 employees that are now, and in effect laid off. They're not getting paid anything. Now, we don't know what the government's going to do, because as I post this video, we may not have a decision from the Senate and what's going to happen. There's a lot of bickering going back and forth between senators, the Republican and the Democratic senators. We don't know what's going to happen. We know there's a lot of stories about helping us out as individuals and payments made to us, and maybe some issues or some answers on mortgage, and a lot of issues hopefully to small business operators. And I hope all of that happens, and if it does, that'll be wonderful. But even if it does, remember that those big corporate people I'm talking about, or your big competition, they're going to try to make up for what they've lost here in March and probably in April. And if you, as a single salon, let's say that you're a small single salon and you do $80,000, $90,000, $100,000 a year, so you're a smaller player, but you're still a very important player to this business. And I can tell you, if you close or you can't, for some reason, you throw in the towel, you're going to help those big corporate guys, because they get 2 or 3 of those in a market that close up. This is found money for them. And they're going to try to make up the last half of the year for what they've lost here in the peak season. I got to tell you, make no doubt about it, these corporate people would love to see you go out of business. So, and remember, as you say, the marketing theme is we are a virus-free zone. And so even when this veil has taken up and we can start opening up our tanning salons, people, consumers are still going to have in their minds, should we be doing this? Remember, the 1993, and you'll see this, by the way, in my previous videos, a 1993 CDC statement, pretty damn hard to get a virus off a tanning salon. So keep that in mind when you're doing your marketing, and think about what you're going to do to get your good employees back, because you don't know, they may have gone, when this veil is lifted, they may go someplace else. And I've said for years, I've said to do all of this for our tanning salons and not have good people to make that presentation to customers is crazy. So you got to have a strategy on marketing. You got to have a strategy on your HR, your employee side, which is something that we do all the time. So let your tanners know your salon beds are always sterile and safe to tan in. And if you want to make your EFT, social, and traditional marketing score bigger audiences and better direct sales, then you got to talk to somebody that knows what they're doing. Now, there are people in this industry, beside myself, obviously, that know what they're doing. There's some really sharp people out there. Mike Bloor out in California. Jerry Devaney's been in the business for, I've been at 30 years. Jerry's been in actually a few years more longer than I have. J.R. Homer knows what he's doing. David Givens, Brian Blair. These people are really good. Kristen Smithers, who is new to the business but has a single salon, she's a sharp cookie, very sharp cookie. And if you look at the list of people that we've dealt with, you're going to find people on there that really know their stuff, such as Lindsay White, that's the general manager of Chili Peppers Tan. So if you think that you don't have all the answers, call me. There's my number, and you'll see also down below the my email address, and you'll also see the YouTube addresses you can go to look at the stuff that we posted there before. And I think, as you all know, I've got a pretty heavy duty background, probably heavier than anybody else that's been in this business in terms of corporate and academic training. So I want you to think about that. It says they're consulted 473. I've actually now consulted 499. So I hope that you got something out of this email, and we're gonna do our best to handle as many people as we can. I've already got more signups. It's getting crazy here, so but just let me know what you want to do and how I can help you. And I hope that this virus lifts soon and you'll be back to doing the business that we all know and love. So take care. I hope you get slammed, because the business is open soon. Bye-bye.